Today we are going to be making pizza. Now the first step to making pizza is by getting water that is at least 105 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Let me check here. It's 110 degrees. Perfect. Next, you're gonna get your yeast, and we're gonna get 2.5 teaspoons into the water. There's the first one. There's the second one. And finally, the last one. Okay, now that that's in there, you're gonna need to want 1 teaspoon of sugar. Perfect. And now we mix. I'm pretty sure that's mixed enough, so I'm just gonna set this aside for now. Now we're gonna start with the dry ingredients. Now firstly, what you need is 2.5 cups of flour. I think that's enough. And now we need half of this. It should be pretty easy. Now we add salt. I think that's enough. Okay. Now we mix our dry ingredients. I think that's well mixed enough. Now we wait until the yeast starts proofing. Now, you know your yeast is proofing when it starts to bubble and foam. Okay, now you can see that the yeast has proofed. You can see all of the foam, the bubbles right there. And now, the next step Okay, so now you're gonna need to add 1 tablespoon of oil into here, and we're gonna add another one later. Perfect. Okay, now that we've done that, we get to just dump all of it into the bowl. That did not sound good. Anyways, now we need to mix. When it gets to about this stage of looking like this, you need to dump it all out and form it into a ball with your hands. Your dough ball until it actually turns into a ball. Okay, so you're just gonna do this over and over again. It's going to work, trust me. Okay, so eventually after a while you start to tuck your edges, and then once you're done doing that, your dough should look like this. Now, after that, you need to put oil on it. Trust me, this is important. Okay, so I've just poured oil on it, and now I'm just going to try to put oil all over it because I have to. After it's all oily, you need to put it back into the bowl you just used. And get some plastic wrap. Okay, so while the dough is rising, we're going to make the pizza sauce and prepare the tray for the pizza. Now, I'm pretty sure the first thing that we do is we put the tomato paste and the tomato sauce into here. This is a can opener, for those of you who don't know. Perfect. Okay, so now that we've uncanned our tomato sauce and tomato paste, firstly, I put this in here, and then, using a scooper, I am going to scoop the tomato paste into here and then mix it. Okay, now we mix. Okay, now that I've mixed it well enough, we are going to add garlic powder and onion powder. Just sprinkle some in. You don't need a lot. And then you mix again. I think that's well mixed enough. Though. Okay, so now that we've made our sauce, we are going to prepare the tray. Now, before we put the dough on the tray and stuff, we are going to want to add cornmeal. That's because if we don't, then the dough is going to stick to the pan. And I don't really want that to happen. So I'm just going to make circles, but I accidentally added a bit too much, so I guess I'm just going to knock some off the edge. But you just want a thin layer, because if you get too much, then I'm pretty sure that once you take it out of the oven, it's going to get like flung halfway across the room. And I don't really want that happening to perfectly good pizza. I believe this is good. Okay, so now that you've got cornmeal on the tray, you're going to go get your dough and, you're going to go and put flour on it because you just put a bunch of oil on it. So now that we've gotten the dough, you can see how it's basically like tripled in its size. Okay, so you, first things first, you're going to need to put some flour on this table. Alright, that's enough. And now I need to get it into a circle shape that's big enough as this tray. Now, what I'm doing is I'm using my fingers to push the dough into the circle shape. And yeah, that's basically all you gotta do. You just gotta turn it into a circle shape and make sure that you're not gonna make it too thin so that, it's really thin. Okay, so when you see an area that has a lot of like dough, like over here, you want to bring it to the area that has not a lot of dough, like so, and now you have a lot of dough in that area that you can use to further expand the circle shape. This is more of an oval shape, so I think I'm going to push more of the dough up here. Okay, so once you've gotten to about this size, you're going to want to put it onto the tray and then just perfect it. But I'm going to need to do this real fast though. Okay, so now that we've molded it into a good enough shape, we're going to start adding our toppings. Now, what I do for the sauce is that I grab a spoon and then you get a spoonful of sauce and then you keep on putting it until there's enough. I think like 3 spoonfuls should be enough. And then you just start going like this. I'm not gonna lie, I think this is probably the hardest part about making a pizza because you can't have too much sauce in one area or else it's not gonna be cooked enough. But so far, it's going pretty well. Okay, now I'm pretty sure I'm finished with the sauce. Now, cheese. Oh, and also, if any of you guys are wondering what toppings I'm just gonna put on this, I'm just gonna make a classic pepperoni pizza. Okay, I finished with the cheese. Now, pepperoni. Oh wait. Okay, so I'm a really big fan of pepperoni, so I'm going to put lots of it on here. And I mean a lot. Alright, I'm finally finished. Now, we're gonna pop this thing in the oven. And now you have made your pizza. Bon appetit.